everybody, I'm Jeff the Homestead Dad, and welcome to the Homestead. Today, we're going to make a picnic table. I've done this a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. I built one and then actually sold it. So I want to make another one that we are going to keep. The last time I did this, I used that Hitachi, let me show you guys, that Hitachi miter saw right there. And it worked okay. But on the 2x8s, when you need to do it on an angle, it didn't quite have enough width to cut. So I had bought this Chicago Electric. It is I forget what it is, 12-inch, but it's got a much larger surface. The blade moves back and forth like this. So this should make it significantly easier and faster to make the picnic table. So we're going to be using that. I just opened the door so that I have better light because the halogen lights in here are not good. But let's go. I want to show you when I made that stuff, or when I made that table a while back, I had bought extra lumber. So while I'm in quarantine, I don't even have to go anywhere. I've still got the lumber. It's right over there behind the tractor, leaning up against the wall. So I've got 2 pressure treated 2x8s that are 8 feet long that I will be using for the legs of the picnic table. And then I've got regular kiln dried 2x8s that I'm going to use for the top, and then kiln dried 2x6s that I'm going to use for the supports and the seat. And then when I had done it last time, I had made these benches right here, and these benches are made out of the 4x4s for the legs, and then 2x6s for the tops here, and then just some supports around that are 2x4s, and they're really sturdy. Again, the only thing that is pressure treated is stuff that's in ground contact. The rest of the stuff is just naturally weathered, and we've sprayed some like spray on stain on these, but you can see it always wears off because we're sitting on them and using them and standing on them. The kids are jumping off them, but these fit perfectly on the end of the picnic table. So with our large family, now that we have 9 people in our family, 7 kids and my wife and I, the picnic table we can put on there, and we could pretty easily fit 4 adults on either side. But if we have these on the ends, it works even better. So let's go get the saw out, let's get the lumber out, and we can get started making this picnic table. Okay, so I've got my 2x8s down here. This is the bottom side of the table. I have the side of the table, the nicer side of the boards, all facing down. And you can probably see, let me turn the camera around and show you guys. There's a gap here. There's a big gap in the middle of this board. These boards are not perfect, and I could just leave them be like this and there'd be gaps, but I think what I'm going to try to do is clamp them down. I'm going to take some big wood clamps, and I'm going to put like 2 or 3 clamps on here, because what I'm going to do is take a 2x4 and cut it to length, and I'm going to make cleats. So I'm going to screw this together with those 2x4s. So if I can get them mostly straight by the time I screw them down, then hopefully over time they'll kind of straighten out. So if it gets to be too big of a pain, I'll probably just say it is what it is, because it's gonna be outside. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'd like for it to be a little bit nicer if possible. So I'm gonna grab the wood clamps. I'm gonna cut the brackets with the miter saw. Don't run those, please, you monkey. And then we'll get going. I've got my pipe clamps. I've got them set out. So the table legs, the supports, are going to go 16 inches in from the center. So I'm going to make sure, guys, quit. I'm going to make sure that I don't have the clamp there where I want to screw that in. So I measured that out. I'm going to just kind of put them where they're at now. Put these nails in between, because I do want gaps so that water can go through, but I just don't want huge gaps. I want little itty bitty gaps. So I'm going to go ahead and clamp these up and put the nails in between. Then I'll go ahead and cut the cleats, screw them on, and then the table top will be done, and we can start working on the legs. I made a boo-boo. You can see this side, I cut it that way, and that side I cut it that way, so it won't lay flat. That's all right though, because I can just use this for the bench cleats. I can just cut this into a couple of different bench cleats, so I won't lose anything with that. Let's go get the cleats set up on the tabletop. The biggest bow is in the middle, and it's in that one board, the far board on that side. So what I think I'm going to do, because when I tried tightening down the far clamp, the whole thing wanted to curl up like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw these cleats down on either end. So I'm going to screw this cleat down and that cleat down there, so it'll hold the table flat. And then I'll put the one in the middle after I crank it in a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm just using 2.5 inch. Okay, so I've got all the cleats screwed in. You can see the proof will be in the pudding when I flip it over. If the top of the table, which is on the bottom now, isn't straight, then this is all for naught. But it is what it is. Like I said, it's a picnic table. If you can go to the store, which I know a lot of us can't right now, although I know Home Depots and stuff like that are open, and you can get 5 straight boards, this would go a lot quicker. You wouldn't have to clamp anything up. You just set them together, put the pennies in between for spacers, screw it together, and you'd be done. I wanted to clamp it because I didn't get it totally even because the wood started to creak. So there's still a gap there, but it is what it is. So now I've got to cut the legs. The other thing you could do is I just screwed this in. I didn't use construction adhesive. You could use construction adhesive. I probably will if I think about it for the legs, but I've built them in the past and it hasn't been necessary. I mean, it still works. So yeah, so I gotta help that guy put some popcorn in the microwave. I've got to then I think it's 28 degrees is the angle for the cuts for the legs, and that's something I don't want to mess up because I've only got two 2x8s that are pressure treated. So yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I'll show you guys when I cut it. With the tabletop being done, now I need to cut the legs. Here's my pressure treated 2x8. Set the miter saw to 28 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this, then 32¼ inches down, I'll cut it again, 32¼ inches down, I'll cut it again, and I'll have 2 legs that will put the tabletop, I think 30 inches off the ground with the angle. So let's go ahead and do that. that. 2 legs. I need to do that again to get the other legs. Unfortunately, I can't get another one out of here. It's 32 1/4 from here to here, but that doesn't give us a little wedge there. So I need to use the other board. So I have my 2 table legs laid out here, right there, and I have a flat edge across the top. I have outside dimension from there to there is 29 inches because that's the dimension from here to here. So 29 inches. Now what I need to do is set the height for my bench seats. I'm going to go with 17 inches off the ground. 17 inches off the ground. So that means I will need to go up 15.5 inches from the ground level, which will be right here. That's why I have the square out, so I can measure from there up 15.5 inches, add the width of the 2x6, and we'll be good. So I'm going to mark that. I'm going to figure out how long the support needs to be in order for the to go across, and then I'll let you know so that if you guys want to make this, because I'm just kind of I'm using this old house design, but they don't give you all the dimensions. You kind of have to figure some of them out yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll tell you guys what the dimensions are. So if you want to make it, it's a lot easier for you. Cut it at 64 inches, which will give me enough room to put the 2x6s for the bench seat. And then you can see I cut it at a 15-degree down angle, so there's not quite as much edge for somebody to walk by and kick their shin or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and use these lag bolts to put these in there. I'll probably put 2 lag bolts and 2 deck screws. It'll be good, and it'll be securely fastened. Then I'm going to make the other set of legs, do the same thing as this, so I'm not going to show you because it'll just be a repeat of this. And then go ahead and screw them on there, and once we get it set up, then we can go ahead and screw the bench seats on, and we'll be done. I've got the legs screwed on. I need to put some braces. They're good right now, but I want to make sure that it can't rack back and forth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a 2x4 to go from here down to there on an angle. So I'm going to grab a 2x4 and we're going to I'm going to use the square. I'm going to measure it, put an angle on it, and then go cut it on the saw. Josh is going to hold the legs square. I'm going to go ahead and scribe a line here like this, and a line like that. I'm going to go cut those lines, and then I'm going to put it in there. Okay, I'm going to screw through this so that it goes down into the table. Okay, so that's steady. Now I'm going to have Josh hold the square on the legs one more time, and then I'll screw through the support in here. So square that up over there, bud. Should be pretty close. Maybe come up a little bit. Not too far.
Looks like it.
Is that good? So it looks like you get, there we go, right there?
Yeah.
Oh, no, so remember, just hold it on the bottom. There we go. Okay, right there, hold it there. Got it?
Yep.
Okay, so that's it. Now we've got a support here that'll keep the legs from racking, make it even more sturdy. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. I'll see you guys when I'm done. Okay, so with Jacob's help, we got it flipped over. These are not screwed down yet. I measured, I'm gonna screw this one down. I'm gonna space it out, screw it down the other bench side, and I don't have I'll probably make some cleats, but then we'll have a picnic table. It'll be pretty sweet. Let's do that now.
Just out in the woods. You go down the hill a little bit to the left. Yeah, look.
I see it, bud.
This looks awesome. Whoa.
Back down there. Oh, we gotta keep it on there, baby girl.
You gotta push.
Okay, hold on. Here. Put it in. That's right, put it in. You gotta make sure it's in there. Okay, now you gotta push. Put one hand up here. There you go. Now. You gotta put it on there. Okay, go ahead. Stop. Okay, yep, let Josh do it. Stop. So we got the bench seats on. It's done. The reason we're still in the barn, we brought it back in the barn, is because there's some rain showers coming through, and I think they'll be through before dinner. So we're gonna bring this in the barn so it doesn't get all wet, and then after the rain showers are through, we can take it back outside and we can eat there. So that's the plan. Say hi, Lou.
Hi.
So I, had a little bit of help from the kids, but I was still figuring it out because I hadn't done it again. It took me 3.5 hours, probably 4 hours to do mostly by myself, just a little bit of help. I was talking to Jacob, our oldest, because he was like, hey, can we, make another one and then maybe try to sell them? Because I had sold the one that I made a couple years ago. I thought I did a video on it, but I can't find it. So I think what we could do is if I can get to the lumber yard and buy enough lumber to make 2 more tables, we could make the tabletop and cleat it together. We could make the benches and cleat it together, and then make the A-frames, screw those together, and everything will then sit flat, almost flat up against the wall. It would probably take up a foot of wall space. Then all we would need to do is screw these things together, put the braces in there on, but I could even probably cut those because those were at like 35 degrees. So I could probably cut those and then we just have to screw everything together in 20 minutes, half hour, be really quick. So if you're looking for something to do while you're at home in lockdown, you could do this. If you're near us and you want one, message me. I can make one for you, and we can work out delivery or something. So, but that's the plan. I mean, pretty cool. Just take some lumber. And like I said, the only thing that's pressure treated is the legs, because that's the only thing that's going to be coming into ground contact. Everything else is kiln dried. We'll probably do whatever my wife wants to do with regards to painting or staining, but I would just plan on leaving it like this and not doing anything with it, because yes, it'll rain, but then it'll dry out, and it's not going to be in contact with water, so it should last a really long time. The one that I sold, the people, I think they painted it, and they liked it, and it's, and it's, you can't move this around one person. It definitely takes two, adult-sized people to move it. Jacob and I can move it no problem, but it's heavy. It's not, some wimpy table that's gonna, fall apart. This thing is very sturdy, and in fact, we might make another one just for us, and we could take it over by the shooting range, because then we could put it here and go boom, and use it for shooting. I might build one taller than that or something though, and just keep the kitchen tables nice. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I will do my best to answer them in a timely manner. God bless you and your family. Thank you for praying for us. I'll see you guys in the next one.